Hey, it's me again, as always. Um, I figured I'd check in for like a CF update, life update kind of thing. I forget, I think it was like a week ago, I made a video. There's like a CF up. A lot's kind of been going on. Or I guess not that much, but whatever. So, like I said, I have lowered my hours at work, so I'm only working 2 days a week. And that's been going on since the beginning of September, but for the first like 2 weeks of September, I was in the frickin' hospital or calling off work because I was feeling so sick. So I really don't count those 2 weeks as much of like a productive time. So it's still relatively new to me, only working 2 days. It's been really beneficial, which I talked about in my last video, but I'm still finding use in doing everything and having more energy to do stuff and mostly more time because when I work, what I've noticed, especially if it's a busy day, like on Sundays, when I work, it tends to be like my thing for the day. Like I wake up, I go to work, and then I don't have energy to clean or to do anything else. And so like when I was working 4 days a week, even back like a year ago or whenever, when I was working full time and managing a whole salon, I especially, oh my god, being a manager was awful. Like in general, it's stressful to have to like be in charge of people, but then even on my days off, I'd be getting texts and calls from people either calling off or like asking questions that they should already know or that can totally wait until I see them again or like whatever. And it was just like I never got a day off. So that was really stressful. But at that point, I did have more energy. Like when I would get sick, it was still pretty bad, but I wouldn't get sick as often. So I was able to function a little bit better. But with time, it's gotten worse. So I'm really glad that I got my hours back and that I'm only working 2 days a week now. I work Fridays and Sundays, so it's really nice because I have Monday through Thursday to get everything done that I need or want to get done for the week, and I don't have to feel like rushed because it's 4 days in a row that I have the option, so I can kind of make a list of like, oh, I need to go grocery shopping and I need to do this and that and this and that, and I can do like a few things one day and then rest the next day, which is like what's happening. Like today I'm not very productive, but yesterday I felt like I did a lot, and also yesterday was just rough. But before, when I was working 4 days a week, it's like if I didn't, like I had 2 days in a row that I had off and then one day, another day of the week. So it was like, if I, like, I don't know, obviously I just had less time. So it's really nice now. And I still get to go to work, and I like my job. I like working, I like seeing people, I like doing hair, I like seeing my coworkers, I like seeing my clients, I like feeling productive in the sense of making money and working and being creative and all that kind of stuff. So it's really working out for me, at least at the moment. As for my disability, I'm a little frustrated, and I still feel like this is going to get screwed up. But I'm not the one applying, like, I'm being applied for. But it's actually a lawyer that's doing it for me who works with the CF Foundation, and she knows what she's doing. She's done this like 4,000 times, and every time that she's done it, her CF client has won and gotten disability. Whereas if I would do it, it'd take like 7 times because I don't know what I'm doing, and the government likes to fuck people over when they're sick and need shit. So anyways, I had signed these papers to release my medical information to her because of like HIPAA and whatever, they can't just send them. But then they never got them because apparently they need to know like what time I need them sent over, like from what date to what date I need them. Like, do my whole life? Is it only the past year? Like, what is it? So I'm like, but I had messaged them to say we were sending them, and she's like, okay. And then I never got a message back, so I checked in like last week sometime, and I was like, hey, just checking to see how things are going along. And she's like, we never got your records. So I'm like, okay. And then I found out that this is why. So I just called, and they're like, oh, I don't even know where your form is, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So they said they were sending, I don't know if they're like sending stuff out for me to sign or what, but they're sending it to her because that's the address I gave them. Because I'm like under the impression that they're sending her my information, but if they're sending me stuff to sign, then that's going to be a whole issue because they're sending it to her. And she lives in Texas. I don't live in Texas or near Texas. I can't just drive there and sign some papers. So I feel like this is going to be a drawn out process, which is great. And then on top of that, I was renewing my medical insurance because I get it through the state because I'm sick and poor. And they decided I make too much money to get it, so they denied my renewal, which is very interesting because they told me what the cutoff was for how much I could make per month, and I make, like, when I first got accepted for it, I was making more than I do now. So like, how does that make sense? But whatever. So then I contacted my social worker, and she said that I guess I was just applying for regular medical insurance, and I need to apply for medical insurance for people with disabilities or something. I have no idea, but I guess that's a little bit different, and the pay cutoff is different, and it wouldn't really even matter now because I'm working way less, so I meet the cutoff for both of them, but I don't have any proof that I'm working less and making less money because I just started doing that. So, like, it's just this whole thing, and at the moment, like, I technically don't have that insurance, but it is my secondary insurance because I'm still on my mom's through her work, and so at least I have something, but it's just, like, frustrating. And yesterday, I was so motivated to, like, do everything. Like, I had a whole list of everything I had to do, and I did some of it, and I've been trying to be more motivated, and I feel like I have. But I was, like, just kind of taken aback because I feel like every time I try to be motivated or move forward, some stupid shit like this happens, and it's just, like, it's frustrating. And then on top of that, like, normally if I have an issue with somebody, I can go and talk to them or whatever, but with this, there's, like nobody gives a shit that I'm upset. Like, my friends do and stuff, but nobody that can help me gives a shit that I'm upset and that things aren't going right and that, like, everything's wrong. And I'm like, it doesn't matter who I talk to, they're, oh, I can't help you, or, oh, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And it's really frustrating because, like, it just makes me feel very powerless, and I don't like that. I don't think most people would. So I was just really frustrated, and, like, that kind of ruined my day and whatever yesterday. But I still do feel good. I don't remember if I talked about this in my last video, but I had begun taking insulin again, which I started since I got out. Well, actually, since before I went into the hospital, I decided to take my insulin, which is something that I struggled with for a while. Just in general, taking care of my health, but, like, specifically, insulin was one of the things that I was just like, I don't want to fucking do this. But I've been taking it pretty regularly. I have it so that, like, what I've noticed with me is that when I get into a specific routine or schedule, I hate it. I hate feeling like something's a chore and that I have to do it. And I get that in life there are things that you have to do and you just have to suck it up and get over it. But I'm trying to, like, work as best I can with how I feel and how I'm able to, like, manage stress and emotions and stuff and go, like, one step at a time. So what I've been doing with my insulin is that whenever I'm eating at home, I will do my insulin. I don't bring it with me to my friend's house or if I go out to eat or things like that, but I do it when I'm at home. And because I'm not at work a lot and stuff, I'd say at least 75% of the time I'm at home when I'm eating, if not more. So I'm still getting it most of the time, and that's, even if that's not perfect, it's a step in the right direction, and it's progress, and I think that that's important. So I'm happy with that for now. I also got, let me show you, I got one of these little bitches that you just like put your medicine in, and then you open it and take the medicine. And what I had been doing was, every day, opening each individual pill bottle, taking the pill out, eating it, or taking it, whatever. And, like, I don't know what, like, clicked, but I was like, this is really annoying. And so I did this, and I feel better about it because I do it all, like, I just fill it up, for the week on Sunday. And I can also see when I'm going to run out of medicine, which is nice. And it also helps because there were times where I'm like, did I take this medicine this morning or not? Should I double up tonight? Because I can't remember if I took it this morning. And on top of that, there's a lot of vitamins that I'm supposed to take. I'm supposed to take one called ADEC, which is vitamin A, D, E, and K. And I think the one that they want me to take is either I have to take an extra vitamin D vitamin, or in the ADEC vitamin, there's like extra D in it, because apparently I'm lacking in D. Whatever. And then there's some other vitamins and stuff that I'm supposed to take too. And every time my doctors would bring it up to me, I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I know myself, and like, I can order these vitamins, I can do whatever, but I'm not gonna take them because I'm just not gonna. But now with this nifty little box from the dollar store, I can, like, the only extra thing that I'm doing is once a week putting an extra pill or 2 or 3 or however many in these things, which is a lot easier than every day carrying them around with me in my bag, because a lot of them I had in my bag just in case, I stayed at a friend's house or blah, blah, blah. But this, I can even put this in my bag if I know I'm going to stay at a friend's house. So I feel better with that. I feel more productive with that. And the only 2 things that I have left to conquer or start really doing are my nebulizers and my tube feedings. And I think those are a little bit more difficult for me just because they take time. The nebulizers, I have to sit here and for 10 minutes for each one, and I do 2 in the morning and 1 at night. And the tube feedings, I have to hook up, and it's a little more thought that's put into it. And I am thinking about it, but I don't want to rush myself because I know how I am, and I'll overdo it, and then I'll just quit absolutely everything. But I'm feeling good about it. I'm glad that I'm contemplating it more. I think nebulizers are going to come first because that's still easier to me than the tube feedings. And I have such an issue with these tube feedings, and I'm not entirely sure why, but I think it kind of stems from the fact that I feel like if I just ate enough during the day while I'm awake, then I wouldn't have to do these tube feedings. And while that's technically true, my doctors have told me it's really not realistic for you to be eating that much during the day, because I need to eat at least, I think, 3,500 calories. A good goal would be 4,000, which is double what someone without CF or without dietary whatevers would eat. So that in itself, when I'm healthy, is pretty difficult. And I managed to do it in high school, and growing up, I didn't have a feeding tube. And I was also a little more structured because 5 days a week, I wake up, eat breakfast, go to school, have lunch, which I would have 2 to 3 lunches. I think my mom paid for 1. Eventually, she started paying for 2, I think. but she would pay for one, and like either I'd pay for the second one or she started doing that. And then a lot of the times if my friends didn't finish their food, like I'd literally just be like, can I have it? Because I was so hungry all the time. And so, I'd end up having like 2 slices of pizza and like 4 sides of fries, and then it comes with a little thing of milk, and sometimes I'd even have more than that. Like I said, if I ate my friend's food or whatever. And so that was basically like, it was a big lunch. So I'd have breakfast, I'd have lunch, I'd come home from school, I'd be starving, and I'd have a meal, and then I'd go to work and have a meal there, or if I didn't work yet, I would sit around the house, and then I'd have like regular dinner or whatever. Like I was always eating basically, and I always had pretzels. I could eat a whole bag of pretzels. Like when we would go to the grocery store, my mom would like let me pick out like a few things or whatever. I'd get a whole bag of pretzels and literally eat them as soon as we got home, the entire frickin' bag. So I was constantly eating. I also didn't have diabetes, and part of the problem with me gaining weight, or the trouble with it, is when I'm trying to think, because I was reading about it online and it made sense. When I don't take my insulin, the blood sugar goes really high, and basically, like, the sugar's in my blood instead of in my like organs or whatever, so I'm not getting energy from it. And so then what my body does is it tries to take energy from things like my fat and my muscles. And because I'm underweight, I don't have much fat or really much muscles, but I'm like eating all this food, but my body isn't able to translate it into energy. And so it's taking what I already have here and like taking it away. So it's almost like I didn't eat, kind of. So the insulin is helping with that, with my energy and stuff. But yeah, I didn't have that issue until, like, I didn't get diagnosed with diabetes till recently. And when I was a senior in high school, they said I was like pre-diabetic, or I had some high blood sugars, but it wasn't concerning enough to start me on insulin or be officially diagnosed. So yeah, so I ate all that, but I also wasn't getting sick. Or I was, but it was maybe once a year I went into the hospital to get put on IV antibiotics. And I remember within a day of being on IV antibiotics, I would feel better. Like, I would feel refreshed, like I would almost feel like I didn't need the rest. And like, obviously I did. But now it usually takes at least like 4 days for me to start feeling better, because I get so sick, and because my body's resistant to IV antibiotics and whatever. So, and I'm also sick all the time. Like, I go into the hospital once every like other month. I think I've been in the hospital 6 times this year, 5 or 6 times. It's not even the end of the year. So it's a lot different for me now, because back then when I got sick, I didn't lose my appetite. But now when I get sick, it's fairly common for me to not eat as much. And so for me to say, oh, I should eat 4,000 calories a day, like I did when I was in high school, isn't realistic, because when I'm healthy, I can barely do that. And when I'm sick, I'm not doing that. But I think my issue with the tube feedings is it's kind of solidifying the fact, or accepting the fact, that I can't just do it myself. And for some reason that feels more kind of like a failure, or like my fault, than something like, okay, my lungs make extra mucus. There's nothing I can do about that. So it makes sense that I would need my nebs. Like, I can't just decide for my lungs to not make mucus, or my blood sugars are high. There's not really anything I can do about that, because I mean, you can change your diet and stuff, but I'm not supposed to do that because of my CF. But when it comes to eating, it feels like I should have control over that, and I don't. And so it's hard for me to like be okay with the fact that I don't. Even though, I'm still like failing if I'm not doing my tube feeds. Like, it's pretty clear that I'm, but I think like that's what my biggest issue is. And then there's also just the annoying fact that I have to be hooked up to it for however long I decide, because normally I do 8 hours because it's overnight, but I could choose to speed that up. I could choose whatever, but I think that's my biggest issue is I don't want to have to rely on that, and I know that I do, but I haven't like accepted that I do, so I'm working on that. But I know this was a very like rambling video, but I think that that I'm doing pretty good on moving forward with taking care of myself. I'm not the cleanest person, you can ask anyone in my life, but I have been cleaner than I have been because I have more energy. So I've noticed I clean little, it's hard for me to clean all at once, but I do little things like I just organized my closet and hung up a bunch, or I think like almost all of my shirts. I still have to find hangers for the pants, but that's something. I haven't hung up stuff, not since I moved in here, and I don't think since I moved, I just can't think of the last time that I like hung up clothes or folded clothes. And I did a big clean of my room, and then every day, like, I have my little like trash pile of like empty water bottles and stuff over here, but I clean that up more frequently than I normally would. So I'm seeing an improvement in myself, and I'm trying to focus on that. And I'm actually like, I am focusing on that, and I'm happy with that. So I don't know. But that's where I'm at right now. Also, I'm excited. The next time you see me, I'll probably have mostly blonde hair. I know you can see it in the front here. I put, there's a blonde streak in, and then on the side I also did one. You can't really see it because it's covered up by that bandana, but like, they're meant to be bright, and I kind of did that as like a tester, and I really like the way that it turned out and stuff, so I'm having my coworker go through and put a bunch of highlights in tomorrow. So I'm not going to be like all over blonde, but I'm going to have highlights all over my head, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, but anyways, that's my little update of my life with CF. So